yeah, in this percentage ratio diagram. So again, another slide that talks about that. What's the takeaway from this is that, as you know, that every single trade that you trade on the exchange is cleared by the clearinghouse, the CME clearinghouse, and having a wide product as well as customer base provides the clearinghouse with a stability in terms of any potential of a crisis. So, say for example, if we were highly dependent on say for example the interest rates cluster, and something were to go wrong there, the clearinghouse can be very badly hit, and in some cases may even collapse for all you know. But having a wide and diverse range of different products means that the clearinghouse is no longer dependent on any single asset class, and thereby your trades are guaranteed a even higher degree of safety. Okay. For those of you that trade electronically, you'll be pleased to know that we are rolling out more and more what we call electronic telco hubs. What electronic telco hubs do, and I would like to distill it for the audience, is basically if you're trading electronically, in the past, what would typically happen if there was only one hub and say that hub was in Chicago, your trade might have to go, for example, through the internet from the Philippines to Hong Kong to Japan, back to Korea, down to Australia, and then maybe over to Chicago, for example. But with a telco hub, say for example the hub is in this case, say the hub is in Singapore, or if the hub is in Korea, we're building a hub in Korea as well. Your trade may go from the Philippines to say Japan and then to Korea, and then in Korea it goes straight into the electronic hub which goes direct into the exchange. So in essence, although, and I'm being very general in terms of the description, in general it would be fair to say that your trades are processed faster the closer you are to a hub. For some of you that, I guess for most of us who've been in the trade and started trading electronically years back in almost more than 10 years ago, we're all still familiar with the old name Project A, right? Right? How many people here still refer to Project A as Project A? Okay, okay, that's a very old name, okay? In fact, today, Project A was then taken over by a few other systems at the CBOT, Live Connect, that's right. And then you've got ACE, ACE, for some of you who also know there was an in-between trading engine in between. So that name has evolved, and today all your CBOT trades are on a system called Globex, which is developed and owned by CME Group itself. No more the old name going forward into the future. I mean, we will always refer to it as Globex, and we hope that eventually the name Globex sticks. For existing CME users, they obviously are familiar with the name Globex, but I think for CBOT users, it's still probably something new for you. So it may be the first time you're hearing of it, but if it's so, if next time when you do hear the name Globex, be assured that your trades are on Globex, no longer on Project A. Okay, now Globex, I would like to show the chart on the right. This is a very counterintuitive chart, and let me explain to you why. The bars indicate the number of orders that go into the exchange. Okay, so for example, you were to put a buy order, a sell order, that's an order. And that's the what we call the response time, or rather the average RTT, average round trip time. So as the number of messages or trades are going to the exchange increases, by right, the round time should actually increase as well, because you know it's like a city, right? The more cars you have going into the roads, the more jammed you are, the longer it takes for you to get to the other side of town. But it's the reverse here. Actually, the number of trades, the response time decreases. So it goes to show how fast the trading environment is changing globally. Many exchanges are putting in a lot of investments into their trading engines to improve response time, okay, in response to the trading community's needs for faster speed. Now, as hedgers, I think most of you are hedgers here in the room. You probably don't need that kind of speed, so it's really not relevant. But I just felt it's important for you to, to know what's going on out there, and the developments that are occurring throughout the exchange space that will, in the end, affect your trades. Couple more slides on the growth in volume. As you know, over time, volume has grown, and we at the CME, we project that volumes will continue to grow as time passes, as more and more firms take and put on risk management systems, and as well as the fact that by far and by large, the larger trading community out there has, as of recent, discovered the benefits of diversifying your portfolio into commodities. So that's adding to the volume as well. I won't go through this, a whole list of products that you can use for risk management over at the CME group, of which probably, as mentioned, you're probably most familiar with these products over here on the left. Okay. I'd like to spend the next few slides just going through some of the new developments at the exchange and new tools that you can use for your risk management needs. But before that, I'd like to just tell you a little story about an experience that I had when I was in Hong Kong about a year back. And I visited an equity fund. Okay, now the equity fund doesn't trade futures and options. Okay, so let's not talk about manipulation or speculation here. Okay, they're a pure equity fund. They invest in companies listed on the stock markets. So when I was seeing him, he had some questions for me on the market and so on and so forth. So I was there to answer those questions. He asked me a very interesting question, and he said that you probably have met. He asked me, I'm guessing that you probably have met quite a number of firms that use futures and options for hedging, right? And I said, yes. I mean, in the course of my work, I do come across companies that do use futures and options for hedging. And he said, hey, I've got a question for you. I'm looking to invest in this company listed in China that trades, that's involved in the business, and they use futures and options for hedging. And I said, okay. And he said, I went through the annual report, and I attended the shareholders meeting and so on and so forth, and he found it very strange. Some of the figures in the balance sheet didn't tally up. So he asked the CEO during the shareholders meeting, and he said he's intending to invest in that company, and he said that I noticed that your the amount of commodities that you trade over the course of a year is X metric tons. But at the same time, I noticed that your hedging is X times 7 times. Okay? And you put it under hedging. So perhaps what I'm trying to say is that a lot of people use the term hedging very loosely. Okay? There's probably a mix of different users here in the room as commercials. Some of you probably don't even hedge, don't even use futures and options to hedge. You buy straight cash. Some of you may use futures and options together with your cash as a hedge. And some of you may simply be using futures and options as a speculative tool to gamble on the market, but you call it hedging. Okay? So I think everybody probably fits into one of these 3 categories, but in the case of the equity investment manager, clearly 7 times hedging is clearly not hedging in my book. Okay, so having said that, not all these products may be suitable for your needs. Okay, they are suitable for different classes of commercials. Okay, and may or may not fit your profile. So I leave you to be the best judge of what you think would be of use to your hedging needs. The exchange has recently gone into an area known as OTC clearing, over-the-counter clearing, and I'd like to spend a little bit of time just explaining certain aspects about over-the-counter OTC and what is called exchange traded. We read about it, a lot about it in the news, and especially recently as you read that the CFTC wants to clamp down on OTC OTC trading in terms of reportability as well as transparency.